Okay, so what's coming up over the next 4 to 8 years? Obamacare is probably safe. They got called on a bluff on this. Obamacare is exactly what the pharmaceutical companies want. It's there to prevent single payer. If they take away Obamacare, they'll have to deal with a movement for single payer, and it will be that much stronger. Let's move back to the Democratic primaries, where you actually had people voting against Bernie Sanders because they thought they were going to take away their Obamacare. Obamacare is what the Republicans wanted. And I would actually be very, very surprised to see the Republicans take it away. I don't know what they do. Maybe they repeal it and then pass it the next day, or they make some little adjustments to it or something. I don't know. But I think that the basic core of a mandate is exactly what Newt Gingrich wanted, exactly what the Heritage Foundation wanted, and is not going to be repealed. They were probably never thinking that they would get to this point. They were probably thinking that there would always be some check that would prevent them from actually doing it. And now they're going to need to come up with something to pull themselves back on it. They're going to need to come up with some kind of excuse. I don't know what they're going to do, but I don't think they're actually going to repeal this for the reason that they don't want to create a movement against, or they don't. If they repeal Obamacare, they're giving the Congress back to the Democrats, because that will create a movement in favor of single payer. They won't do it. The TPP will be signed very quickly. Trump will just flat out flip-flop on that. You'll see Pence take the lead. The Congress will push it through. There's no. I think that there's no ambiguity on this. Why did Donald Trump pick a vice president that was in favor of the TPP? He was sending a message to the investors, sending a message to Wall Street that I'm not serious about this. We'll go ahead and we'll push it through. There's no. You saw Obama say the same thing. You saw Hillary Clinton do the same thing. I don't see any reason to think Donald Trump is any different than any other politician, and the TPP will sail right through. He might make some minor adjustments or something. The wall is going nowhere. That was just silliness. Remember that whole Russian reset thing with Obama? Where Obama said there was going to be better relations with Russia, and then he pushed a coup in Ukraine. The Clinton campaign has forced Trump's hand, actually. Trump has little choice but to go pick a fight with Putin almost immediately. One of the first things that Donald Trump will do is do some cowboy macho thing with Putin. That my suggestion to the Russians is that they should be on alert, because they should expect something here. The Iran deal is unclear. I think I'm going to be quiet about that for a few minutes, or for a few weeks. I think that there's one or two possibilities with the Iran deal. Either they do nothing, or if they drop it, if they can't bring the sanctions back. The reasons why they signed the Iran deal was because the rest of the world was getting fed up with sanctions. The Chinese didn't want to enforce the sanctions. The Iranians didn't want to enforce the sanctions. And if you can't put sanctions on them, you have no pressure on them. And so they signed the deal in order to allow the Chinese to get out of the sanctions. I know that's not what the media in the States said, but the media in the States is of no value, really. So, do you think Trump is going to convince China to put sanctions on Iran? Of course not. If he signs the deal up, what he's doing is he's giving Iran their program back. It doesn't change the fundamental reality of things. It doesn't change the fact that the Russians have anti-aircraft defense systems in Iran, and people are going to die if they try to bomb them. So, I mean, I don't... Okay, I need to give you a caveat here. I never thought Bush would bomb Iraq. I thought it was crazy. And I will probably deny it till the day it happens, okay? There's no way the military is going to let him do this. This is absurd. I'll admit that I was wrong about Iraq. I may in the end be wrong about Iran. But the way I see it is that either A, they let it in place, or B, they just back off. Might make a deal with Syria or something, right? The Supreme Court is fucked. Climate change, we need to resign ourselves to the facts and focus massively on adaptation to climate change. This is going to be far more expensive and require far more wealth redistribution, presuming we can actually win the fights at all. But they're going to need to build a system of dams, like in the Netherlands. They're going to need to deal with water management, right? Excuse me. Instead of focusing energy on trying to stop climate change, activists need to focus energy on adjusting to it. And I'm going to state this bluntly. In terms of the positives, the one real argument I had for Trump is that I think he'll be more likely to drop the federal law on marijuana. Not that I think it's really likely. But I mean, it's certainly a lot more likely than Clinton, right? Clinton has been very staunchly anti-pot forever. I don't think Trump gives a fuck. This isn't even on his radar. As far as things that Trump wants to do, marijuana, it's like he doesn't care, right? But the thing is that with Trump, he has all of his positions are about states' rights. Abortion's about states' rights. Obamacare is about states' rights. It's going to be kind of hard for him to maintain consistency, right? And you may be able to push that down on him. You might be able to tell him that if you want to be consistent in your view about states' rights, then you're going to have to accept this about marijuana. I at least think it's more likely than Clinton taking that position. I think Clinton would kind of maintain the drug war. She may have even increased it. What you will actually get from Donald Trump is tax cuts for the wealthy, more Reaganomics, cuts in the regulatory frameworks that are needed to make trade work fairly, further trade liberalization, boosts in defense spending, and further cuts in social services. Social security is in serious jeopardy. I don't think they're going to cut Obamacare. I do think they will probably very severely damage Social Security. Not only will he not give you your job back, he will take away your pension and your welfare too. You've been fooled. Well, remember, I don't think you actually voted for him.